everyone, Renee Grinneman with Spirited Growth. I am a licensed mental health counselor and a certified yoga therapist. And I'm here today to offer you the second part of our series called Breathing for Emotional Transformation. So as with all of our practices that we'll be engaging with in this series, we are going to be taking a mindful approach to our breathing. Last week, and if you weren't here last week, you can check it out. It's been loaded to YouTube and is also in our group Spirited Body Mind on Facebook. Last week we started engaging with watching the breath, just witnessing it, learning how to notice what's happening to the breath and notice what it's attempting to tell us, because we can learn a lot from paying attention, from slowing down and paying attention. And this is what embodied mindfulness is about. So this week we're going to start introducing some more purposeful explorations. And these explorations are going to be based on some basic mind-body science. And I'll be explaining to you in general how different parts of the breath work. However, we're going to continue using that mindful approach. So let's begin. What I want you to do is I want you to just pause for a moment and think about a time when you have been startled, when somebody maybe jumped out at you as a prank or something like that. And I want you to think about what the very first thing was that you did. So, of course, automatically, the very first thing we tend to do is go, we have that startle moment where we prepare for danger. And that preparation in danger includes this big inhale. And so, in general, with the breath, we can think of the inhale as being the exhilarating part of the breath. This is the part that readies us for engagement. It's activating in general. And again, I'm talking generalities. We'll explore that a little bit more in our own bodies. Similarly, we also have a second part to the breath, the exhale. And in general, the exhale is a calming part of the breath. So again, I want you to just think in general, sometime when somebody was especially exasperating for you, and in that moment, a lot of our automatic responses are, and so with that sigh, without even knowing it, just by knowing it deep inside our bodies, without even knowing it intellectually, we are engaging with the calming part of the breath, the exhale. And so here's where mindfulness comes in, because I can tell you generalities around this. The inhale, exhilarating, the exhale, calming. And this is a true engagement of the sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. However, it may be experienced differently for each of us based on our histories and where we are in the engagement of our nervous system. So for example, I sometimes have clients who are very anxious, maybe have been dealing with it for a long time, and they've been told, well, just take a breath, focus on your exhale, take calming breaths. And they feel like, well, that doesn't work for me. And in fact, they'll often tell me, nothing works for me. None of the things that people say work for me. And there's actually a reason for that. So for some people, if they've been activated for a long time, or they're in unsafe conditions in general, it is dangerous to become too calm. And so in the moment where they start to topple into a state of calmness, then their animal brain kicks in and says, no, we have to be on alert. There is serious danger around the corner. And so they have this anxious response come in over the top of what is actually naturally programmed into the body. Exhale, parasympathetic nervous system, calming. And so I just want you to know that if you do not experience these things as activating or calming the way I say, that's okay. That's telling us something about where you are right now. And we can work with that. And so today we're going to play with each of these parts, but I want you to do it in a way where you're exploring and accepting and non-judging of what your experience is, because you're going to learn something as we engage. All right? So, as we begin our breathing practice today, let's close our eyes. Find a comfortable position. So hopefully you are either seated or standing or even lying down, tall spine. Take a moment, if you're seated or standing, to press the soles of the feet into the ground and lengthen the spine, elongating, creating space for the breath. And just like we did last week, take a moment right now to not change the breath anyway, but just to witness it. What is happening right now with your breath? Notice if your body is breathing in a calm and steady way, or if it is a little bit more jagged or forced in some way. Notice if it's deep or shallow. Without changing the breath, notice, what does it feel like to be told to not change the breath right now? So if you're used to maybe starting to shift the breath as you focus inward, notice what emotions are coming up as you're told to stay in your experience. Learning to stay with our experience is a practice of acceptance. Noticing what's happening now, awareness, and then allowing that to be and to be okay. Acceptance. Even if it's uncomfortable, can it be okay in this moment? And beyond the physical experience of the breath, noticing the thoughts and emotions that go with the breath today. And notice now, starting to witness a shift in the breath. Starting to lengthen the inhale and the exhale. And bringing the hands to the belly, the abdomen. Playing with witnessing the rise and fall of the breath. With the inhale, see if you can allow the abdomen to expand, to blow up like a balloon. With the exhale, feeling it draw inward. And as with all our practices, as we introduce a change, allowing that change to be gentle, gradual. We're not plowing through head down, making something happen, but instead just gently pushing against the edges of our experience. Seeing if we can shift it in subtle ways. And as you start to shift the experience, the body may suddenly want to grab a bigger breath, and allow that to happen. Whatever emerges, allow that to happen. Continuing to feel the belly expand with the inhale and draw inward with the exhale. And so for some of us, this may feel a little different or challenging. Again, play with the experience. Breath should not be agitating, and so if you push your experience too quickly and you feel agitation arising, back off. Allow that to be your guide. And then re-engage again. And in this moment, we're going to play with the exhale. Starting to lengthen the exhale. Again, ever so slightly, and maybe even bringing a count to the breath. So inhaling 1, 2, 3, and going as far as your inhale goes. And then exhaling 1, 2, 3, and exhaling as far as the exhale goes. And then starting to purposely make that exhale a little longer than the inhale. Focus on the sensation that comes with the exhale. Is this exhale a calming experience for you? Or is it an agitating experience in some way? Or maybe there's another word that you would bring to your experience. Find the perfect word that describes the sensation, the emotion, the energy. Maybe you experience it as a direction or a color or a movement. Now play with deepening the inhale and then lengthening the exhale. Notice what happens as you start to deepen the inhale. Is there a shift in attention, awareness, alertness? What happens for you? Take the next 3 minutes to play. Play with lengthening or deepening different parts of the breath. see if you can notice the subtle changes that happen in your energy, in your body. Just be curious. You can't do this wrong. We breathe thousands of times a day. As you explore different ways of engaging with the breath, be sure to give yourself at least a minute or two with each version. And taking one final breath together for today. Deep breath in, sighing it out. Taking a moment right now to commit to your breathing practice. Would you like to return to this today? How often do you want to become intentional with your breathing? So thank you for joining me today. Next week, we're going to start playing with different breathing patterns, some common patterns of engaging with that sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system response. If you have any questions about breathing with the diaphragm, that inflating the belly with the inhale, or any questions about the inhale or exhale or your response in your body, please be sure to leave comments, questions below, and I will try to get back to them as soon as possible. We'll see you next week at 9 a.m. on Monday. Take care.